Hey, now we're going to be diving into the Beatles and some of their songs. What is it that they do really, really well? What is it as songwriters that we can take away from what Paul McCartney and John Lennon in particular did as songwriters, and how we can improve our songwriting craft to write better songs? Now, the Beatles are one of, if not the biggest bands still in the world, having millions of plays every single day, and they did so many things well from the songwriting perspective. So if you're a songwriter who wants to improve their melody, lyrics, structures, rhyming, all things songwriting, then you're in the right place. My name's Danny Boyle, I'm the founder of Songwriters International, and below this video in the description I've put together my entire process to songwriting that has allowed me to write great songs that go on and be pitched and monetized. So if you want me to walk you through that process and go a level deeper, then go ahead and register for that training. Now let's go in and look at the Beatles themselves and what they have done very well from a songwriting perspective that you can go and implement into your songwriting. Now we're going to be looking today at 4 songs in particular of the Beatles, and we're going to be looking at the lyrics. The lyrics are such a big part of the songwriting process. Why? Because it's how we tell the story to the listener. We don't do it through anything else. We tell the story through words and through lyrics, and that's how we create that connection with the listener and tell them the story. And one thing that I've seen from an interview with Paul McCartney, which really resonated with me and also makes sense now that I look through the lyrics of the Beatles, is that lyrics shouldn't be complex. Now with Paul McCartney in particular, one half of the Beatles when it comes to the songwriting side of things, is that he loves reoccurring things and hooks, which is a great part of the songwriting process. And he believes the lyrics shouldn't be complex and therefore should be simple and convey a message as easily as possible. And we're going to be looking at the lyrics of 4 of the Beatles songs today, which are going to go to that. They're going to lend their hand to exactly what he said. And when John Lennon and Paul McCartney came in, they compensated each other very, very well and were allowed to be completely creative but also very simple when it came to the lyrical side of things. So the first tip I want to give you before we do go and take a deep dive into the lyrics is don't worry sometimes about just saying it how you want to say it. Say it how you see it as a songwriter. Don't worry about being too complex, adding metaphors and lots of layers to the process. If you want to say I love you, or you want to say I want to hold your hand like the Beatles did, and we're going to be taking a look at that song, then just say it, because it's very conversational and it's very easy for the listener to understand exactly what you're trying to say. When you add too many layers to the song and start to overcomplicate it or add too much complexity, then that increases the chances of listeners turning off or leaving your song without really understanding what it is you were trying to say. So there's a fine balance between complexity and also simplicity when it comes to lyrics. So the first lyric we're going to be diving into is the song by the Beatles called I Wanna Hold Your Hand, which was a great hit for them, is a fantastic song and follows the backbone of what I said Paul McCartney said. Lyrics don't need to be complex, have hooks and reoccurring things. So let's dive into the lyric and let's have a look at what they do. Let's have a look at the lyric here, and as you can see it starts with very simple lyrics. Oh yeah, I'll tell you something. I think you'll understand when I say that something, and then repeats I want to hold your hand 3 times over. So what can we take from those first few lines? It is quite literally just saying what you want to say. It's very conversational, and it continues on to, oh please say to me, you'll let me be your man, and please say to me, you'll let me hold your hand ×2, and then I want to hold your hand. That song itself has been played by millions all over the world, has been listened to by millions, and is so simple lyrically. So all you have to take away is that sometimes you can just say what you want to say. Now let's take another look at another fantastic Beatles song, which is called I Saw Her Standing There. Now as we take a look at this lyric, it opens up with, well, she was just 17, you know what I mean. The way she looked was way beyond compare, so how could I dance with another when I saw her standing there? Again, you can see this common trend already in just 2 of the songs of how they've sat down, they've thought, what do we actually want to say lyrically? What are we trying to say to the listener? And they've gone about just detailing that story. She was just 17. if you know what I mean. How simple is that? How conversational is that? Just as the listener, you're listening to that, and it's the way that you would speak to somebody in the street, a friend. Another thing here that they do is they don't add too much complexity. They could have said the way she looked and then detailed all these things about how she looked, what she looked like, what she was wearing. Instead, all they've said was way beyond compare, which is super simple and just, again, says what they're trying to say. And then as the song continues, well, she looked at me and I could see that before too long I'd fall in love with her. She wouldn't dance with another. Oh, I saw her standing there. And it's just, again, very conversational, right? So what are they trying to say? Well, they've saw somebody, they're attracted to them, that initial attraction. This other person doesn't want anybody else. Another great song by the Beatles is a song called Help, which I'm sure you're familiar with. And the chorus in particular is incredibly simple. It's just, help me if you can, I'm feeling down. And I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Oh, won't you please, please help me. Now imagine that in the context of a conversation. This is a thing that the Beatles are doing throughout all of the songs that I'm referencing here, is they're just speaking to the listener. If you were with a friend and you were speaking to them and you were saying that you need their help because you're feeling certain ways, you would say it quite literally like that. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. I do appreciate you being around. Help me if you can get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please help me? Right? It's just so powerful. Sometimes you just say it as you want to say it. Again, it comes back to what I was saying. If you want to say I love you, if you want to say help me, if you want to say I want to hold your hand, don't be afraid to just say it as you see it. And the final song is the most recent released track by the Beatles, which is called Now and Then. Now, out of all of the songs that we've gone through here, I think this one personally is the most simplistic. It is quite incredible how the lyric has fallen out the way that it has. If you look at the opening lyric, I know it's true. It's all because of you. Now, in most cases, if this song was sent to me for feedback or something like that, I would try to open up that and expand it a little bit further. But actually, it works so well. I know it's true, it's all because of you. And if I make it through, again, simplicity and repetition, it's all because of you. And now and then, if we must start again, well, we will know for sure that I will love you. And then it goes into that chorus of now and then, I miss you. Oh, now and then, I want you to be there for me, always to return to me. And this was the final song that the Beatles released officially. And it brings an end to their incredible career with this track Now and Then. But isn't it incredible that they finished the last song that was released and recorded back in around 1970 in John Lennon's apartment on the piano? And it is a song that just simplifies the entire process of songwriting. There's so many different moving parts in songwriting, and there's so many complexities that people like to layer on top of things. But actually, if you strip it all back and you take it right back to the core, sometimes don't be afraid just to say how you feel, say what you think, and deliver it to the song. Because 9 times out of 10, that will win. The common theme that you see through a lot of the Beatles songs, not in every single song, but a lot of the successful songs, is that sometimes they just want to express how they feel, and they put it pen to paper without any metaphors, any complexities, any hidden meanings within the song, and just say it as they want to. And you can do the exact same. You go to the guitar or piano, and you don't have to overthink what you're trying to deliver to the listener. Because this is a great thing of songwriting. You're speaking to somebody. When that song is released to the world, it's being listened by somebody, and all you're doing is speaking to them through the song. How would you say something to a person in front of you and then go about just saying it the same way in the songwriting process with your lyrics and your words? So there we have it. The common pattern that I saw in just 4 of the Beatles' greatest songs, and a lot of the other songs also follow this pattern. Now, as I mentioned before, I've got a completely free training in the description on my entire process of songwriting that takes you through the A to Z of how I've been able to finish multiple songs to an incredible standard and been able to then go on and pitch and monetize them. So go ahead, register for that if you've enjoyed the content. Don't forget to subscribe above. Drop a comment below for any other videos like this that you would like to see. Drop us a like, and go ahead, implement this into your songwriting. Don't overthink it. Simplify. That's what songwriting is most of the time. Being able to say what you want to say in the simplest format. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you over on another one.